What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. You're watching Everything Weapons. Today we're going to be discussing why the AK rifle platform is the best for Arctic freezing temperatures and warfare. The AK just takes the cake, and we're going to be talking about why, the pros and cons, and if in the future we're going to be seeing better rifle platforms specifically to withstand the freezing intense temperatures of warfare in Arctic climates and areas. Most people I feel like know the AK platform is the strongest in terms of weather and temperature and sand, dirt getting in it. And if you didn't know, people test them on YouTube, so really quick, I want to discuss three real-life tests that YouTubers have conducted themselves. And the first one is from Polnar Tactical, and he does AK-47 versus AR-15 with a mud reliability test. And the AK fired 80 shots and only failed 11 times. And then the AR fired only 66 compared to 80 with the AK. And the AR failed 24 times, over double the AK. So that's a crazy test right there. In most tests, the AK just completely craps on any other rifle. And then we have the other GunTuber, Iraq veteran 8888, with his ultimate AK meltdown video, Reloaded. And when was this posted? This was posted 10 years ago, so it's pretty old. But it was a Definitive Arms VEPR, and this AK-style rifle platform was able to shoot consecutively in a row, right, meltdown, 895 total rounds for the count. So almost 1,000 rounds non-stop is ridiculous, right? And the AK platform, it did 630 more than the Wasser 10 that they tested previously, and it did 65 rounds more than the AR-15. And then another test that TFB-TV conducted with AR-15 versus AK-47 and Sub-Zero freezing torture test. In this video, real-life test, the AK was frozen along with the AR-15 to well over minus 40 Fahrenheit, which is just crazy. And so the AK fires completely fine in that test video. So the AK-style assault rifle platform is just widely regarded as one of the most reliable. We know this, if not the most reliable in freezing temperatures. Now, why is the AK, why does it excel in extreme cold? Well, the AK-47 and AKM and its derivatives like the AK-74 variants were designed with Soviet and Russian conditions in mind, including harsh Siberian and Arctic winters, with key design features including a loose internal for tolerance with the massive bolt carrier group and generous clearances allow it to cycle even with ice, snow buildup, thickened lubricant, or even dirt or sand in there, with tighter platforms can seize up more easily. And another strength for the AK, why is it so good in cold? Long stroke gas piston system. This provides strong, violent cycling force that overcomes friction with cold, thickened oils and or ice with hard water, right? And the AK-style platforms, they have rugged, simple mechanics with fewer complex parts, easy to operate with gloves, and resistant to freezing on controls, like the large safety lever and its magazine release. And it's just proven in real-world use. The Russian Soviet forces, in army in general, they've always been prepared with cold climate. Historically in war, the Russians and Soviet, they know that their land is cold and they're the best at fighting in it, right? But they have operated with them extensively with testing in Arctic and subarctic environments for decades, so we just know it's the best. But I'm most interested in future rifle development, and will we see more and tons of rifles in the near next upcoming years, right, that can be better than the AK rifle style platform? That'll be really interesting. So all of the torture test videos online on social media and on YouTube with freezing guns and ice and or dry ice for hours then shooting, consistently showing the AKs running when many other different rifles fail. Right now, comparisons to other platforms, let's compare it to the AR-15 M4 platform while we're at it. So the M4 AR-15 can perform well with proper cold weather, lube, or dry, adjusted gas, and maintenance, but generally less forgiving than AKs in extreme sub-zero conditions with ice or neglect of cleaning, right? With some Arctic users and tests report more malfunctions and jams with AR-15 and M4, and this goes alongside YouTube videos, right, with YouTubers testing them. Now, other rifles like the SCAR, FAL, HK, some of the HKs, they often struggle more with ice and or snow, with very small, tight tolerances. Now, modern Arctic rifles like the Finnish Seiko exist for specialized use, but the classic AK still sets the reliability benchmark for raw cold weather toughness. Now, the caveats, proper lubrication matters. So use low velocity Arctic grade lube or run it relatively dry. Standard oils can thicken or freeze. Quick varies. A well-made AK from good manufacturers and quality outperforms cheap clones. So the quality of an AK still matters, right? There's tons of AKs out in the world. Most of them are pretty bad and not well made because of war, and they weren't built high quality, right? But newer model AK style platforms that have upgraded designing and parts and are built well with high quality metals, those are going to be obviously the best in cold climate, and that's what militaries prefer, especially with special forces. Now, some real world Arctic training actually reports and notes that high quality, properly maintained ARs can match or even exceed mediocre AKs or shitty AKs in certain scenarios, but the AK's reputation holds as the default, it just works option. So the bottom line, for pure reliability and deep freezing temperatures, especially with potential neglect, ice, or minimal maintenance, the AK rifle style platform is still the gold standard, and it's why it's still favored in the cold climates worldwide in every country and nation that has freezing and snow. So if you're choosing for extreme cold, an AK or modernized variant is an excellent pick and probably the best option for cold climate. Now let's talk about, guys. Okay, so here are 10 key pros and 10 key cons, advantages and disadvantages of AK-style rifle gun platforms with the Kalashnikov family, including AK-47, AKM, and the AK-74, and their modern clones in 7.62 x 39mm, 5.45 x 39mm, or other calibers, and these are based on the platform's classic long stroke, piston design, loose tolerances, and real-world performance, widely discussed in comparisons, and user and or expert feedback. Now, the 10 pros of the AK. Firstly, extreme reliability in harsh conditions, right? The long stroke gas piston and loose tolerances let it run reliably in mud, sand, dirt, extreme cold and or heat, or after neglect, often cited as unmatched in adverse environments. Secondly, simple design and easy operation, very few controls, with intuitive manual of arms and quick field stripping, with minimal tools, ideal for beginners or mass training. Thirdly, exceptional durability and abuse tolerance, right? So that's a huge pro for the AK. Built like a tank with robust steel construction, it can take heavy punishment and still function for decades. Next up, the affordability for the rifles, especially quality imports and or clones, and ammo, particularly the 7.62, are generally cheaper to buy and shoot than many modern alternatives. And another huge advantage of the AK is the strong stopping power and barrier penetration, with the classic 7.62 x 39mm round delivering solid terminal performance and penetration at typical close to medium engagements in terms of range. And the AK also has the huge benefit of forgiving of poor ammo and maintenance. It runs well on dirty, corrosive, or even low-quality ammo without frequent cleaning, which is crazy. And the AK style platform also has battle-proven worldwide, right? So experience matters. Experience outranks everything, as Captain Rex said, but decades of combat use by dozens of countries and millions of users give it a legendary track record of dependability. With widespread parts and magazines available, the global aftermarket support, cheap magazines, and spare parts, if needed, especially for common calibers. The AK also has long service life, with heavy construction and overbuilt components, mean many AKs outlast their owners with proper care. Now, it also has controllability in rapid or full auto firing, which obviously select fire versions existing as well, but the design keeps it manageable under sustained fire for its intended role. And now we're going to be discussing the cons and disadvantages of the AK rifle style family platform, right? So first, it has a mediocre accuracy because of the loose tolerances and heavier recoil, typically result in 2 to 4 plus MOA groups with practical minute of man at about 300 yards, making it inferior to AR-15 platforms at distance. With poor economics, awkward safety selector makes it more difficult and harder to manipulate quickly, and the basic charging handle has heavier or grittier trigger and non-adjustable stock in classic designs. Another disadvantage is the heavier overall weight. You could argue the rifle and loaded magazines are noticeably heavier than lighter competitors like the AR-15 style, which affects carry and round count. Another disadvantage is stronger recoil and muzzle rise, especially with the 7.62. More felt recoil and climb is felt than smaller calibers with shooting. The 5.56 or 5.45 is a little bit easier to control. And another disadvantage of AK is limited native modularity, with traditional AKs lack built-in rails for optics, lights, or grips, with upgrades requiring aftermarket work and can affect reliability. So the newer AKs, obviously they're updated with rails, making it easier to attach whatever is needed, suppressors, scopes, lasers, grips, whatever you want. So the newer AKs can also change their stock too, so it's just kind of, the old ones aren't as good, right? They won't really beat that with newer ARs or a different style platform. So no bolt hold open on most models, with empty magazine doesn't lock the bolt back on AK, slowing the reloads and making it less user-friendly in modern contexts. And it has shorter effective range, with ballistics and accuracy limitations, making it less ideal beyond approximately 300 to 400 meters compared to longer range platforms. And variable quality amongst the clones, cheaper imports of AKs or certain manufacturers can have fit and or finish issues, crooked barrels, or out-of-spec parts. So it's more sketchy to trust a cheap AK, I guess you could say. Louder report and more blast, so the design, especially shorter barrels, can be harsher on the shooter and harder to suppress effectively. And as well, heavier ammo loadout, the 7.62 rounds and magazines are bulkier and heavier to carry in quantity, right, when you have a bunch of them, compared to lighter cartridges. And modern AK variants with the rails, better stocks, improved triggers, can reduce several cons and disadvantages, obviously, for the AK. And the AK-74 style platforms in the 5.45 x 39mm improve recoil and weight. And the platform excels as a rugged, no-frills, close-to-medium-range tool rather than a precision or highly customizable rifle, with preferences often coming back down to its intended use, budget, and personal ergonomics. And yes, it's not only possible, it's highly likely and already happening for different rifles to possibly beat the AK style platform, right? So the AK is legendary. Everyone knows it's the best for extreme cold, reliability, and just working, right? You're gonna want to trust an AK if you're in combat and war, in extreme cold. But future and even current, right now, today, next-gen rifles and gun tech can and is developing rifles that can match or even beat and exceed the AK style in harsh Arctic and Sub-Zero conditions, while fixing the AK's main trade-offs like mediocre accuracy, heavy weight, and limited modularity. Now, why the AK excels? So current tech is already producing better options for extreme cold, with modern militaries and Arctic nations aren't still using pure 1950s and 60s, 70s, whatever, 80s AKs. They're adopting or developing rifles optimized for the same conditions, but with big upgrades, like the Seiko Arctic Rifle Generation, or ARG, AK-24 in Swedish service, that's the title. Finland's Seiko, in collaboration with Finnish and Swedish forces, just launched this purpose-built platform specifically for Arctic warfare, and it's an advanced AR pattern rifle with both short stroke, piston, and direct impingement variants, tested to NATO D14 standards for extreme cold, salt water, mud, dust, and even heat. And the Seiko offers lighter weight, far better ergonomics, modularity, accuracy, and the ambidextrous controls, both lefty and righty controls, kind of cool, like the P90, right? While claiming superior reliability in Arctic conditions compared to the legacy rifles. Now, cold hammer forged barrels, advanced materials, and reduced carbon and heat buildup help it thrive where older designs struggle. Now, other modern examples: improved ARs, piston guns, bolt actions with fluted bolts, use Arctic-grade lubricants. And also the Cerakote style coatings. Cerakote style coatings, carbon fiber components for thermal stability, and dry lubes, like graphite that don't freeze. Now, high-quality AR platform guns can, from makers like Colt Canada and LMT, have proven reliable in Sub-Zero with proper setup. These aren't worse than AK in cold. They're engineered to equal the AK's toughness while being lighter, more accurate, and just overall more user-friendly. Future advancements will make it even better. So gun technology currently in 2026, approaching 2027, it evolves fast, right? So here's what's already feasible and or in development already, guys, that could create rifles superior to the AK style in every way for very cold places. So material science, cold resistance, polymers and or composites that stay flexible and don't become brittle at -60 Fahrenheit, carbon fiber barrels and or stocks for better thermal stability, less warping from temperature swings, and huge weight savings without losing strength. nano coatings or self-lubricating surfaces that eliminate the need for traditional oil entirely. Optimized mechanics, manufacturing, like the CNC and 3D printing additives, allow for tighter yet more reliable tolerances, getting AK level dirt and ice forgiveness with modern precision and less recoil, with short stroke pistons or hybrid systems that vent less gas and heat while staying overbuilt, right? And ammunition and propellants, powders and primers that burn consistently in extreme cold with no velocity drops or light strikes. Caseless or advanced cased ammo could reduce fouling and or weight even more and further, with ergonomics and modularity without compromise. Fully ambidextrous controls, lefty and righty, glove-friendly controls, and rails that don't ice up, plus integrated features like better cold weather optics, etched reticles, or non-battery options, and dry run reliability in advanced dry lubes or coatings that perform better than the AK's run it dirty philosophy. So the trade-offs that make the AK reliable but crude, the loose tolerances hurting accuracy, heavy steel construction, are being completely solved, and a future rifle could be AK tough in -50 Fahrenheit blizzards, but with sub-MOA accuracy, half the weight, and full modern accessory support. So, bottom line, the AK set an incredibly high bar for raw, no-maintenance reliability in extreme cold climates and locations, and nothing has fully dethroned it in pure abuse tolerance tests yet, including dirt and sand and mud and water and stuff. But we're already seeing purpose-built Arctic rifles like Finland, Swedish, Seiko ARG that meaningfully better overall, and ongoing advances in materials, manufacturing, and design will keep pushing the envelope, I think. And in the next about 10 to 20 years, there will almost certainly be platforms, I think, that are more reliable in the cold while being vastly superior and better in every other practical metric, and gun technology doesn't stand still. Always remember that. The gun tech and all technology, it never stands still. There's always someone out there trying to make it better, which is a very cool thought. Hopefully you guys learned something or just found this video entertaining. Please drop a like, a thumbs up is greatly appreciated. Type us a comment of what you thought about the show down below. We read all of them, and don't forget to subscribe. You've been watching Everything Weapons. Thank you, I appreciate it. Hit the bell also, guys, so that way you don't miss a video I post in the future. And take a look. Check out my older stuff and videos on the channel. Lots of entertaining military style content. And until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.